Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we're going to see about the while loop. So let me take an example, which is the example that we have already seen in the previous lecture, which is printing A, let it be 5 times. So in the previous lecture, we would have seen how to print A 10 times using the for loop. And now in this lecture, we're going to see how to print A 5 times using the while loop. Okay, before getting into the example, let me just mention the syntax. So what is the syntax of the while loop? So let me bring up my comments, and the syntax is you have to type while over here and leave a space, and now you have to give a test expression, and it's not compulsory that you have to give these brackets, and now leave a tab spacing, and now you have to give the statement, and now again you have to give the incrementing or decrementing. Okay, so on giving the test expression, there's one more that you have to give, which is the variable. So this variable is known as the counter variable. This is the counter variable. So using this variable, you have to specify the test expression. So this is how the syntax looks like. So now getting into the example. So the example is printing A 5 times. So this is our task, and now the objective of that is we have to print A. And one more, we have to print A using the while loop. Okay, so now we have to specify the test expression. So before giving the test expression, there's something which is known as the counter variable. Now you have to give the counter variable. Let me give counter, and let me give a value 1. So you can even give 0, so it's upon the user's choice. So let me give the test expression now. So our goal is to print 5 times, so I'm gonna give counter and less than or equal to, so 5. Now the next is I have to increment or decrement. So I've spelled it wrong, so now I have to increment. So in this case, I'm going to increment. So in the next example, I will teach you how to decrement. So now let me just increment it. So how will you increment? So there are two methods. So you can either increment it this way, counter plus equal to 1, or else you can even give it this way, counter equal to counter plus 1. So now let's check the output. Right click, run. And there you go, it has printed A 5 times. So to give you a brief explanation, I'm going to bring up my flowchart. So how does this work? Now enter while loop. So it enters the while loop, which is the test expression is given as counter less than or equal to 5, the test expression. So here it evaluates whether counter is less than or equal to 5. So the counter that we have specified over here is 1. So it just evaluates 1 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, it's true. So it prints A once and it just increments. So now currently the counter is 1, and when it comes over here, the counter prints over here. So 1 plus 1 gives 2, and it just falls back. So it comes back, and once more it comes back to the test expression, and now the counter over here is 2. Now 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, it's true, and it prints the statement which is A for the second time, and now it increments again. Now the value is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So it comes over here back to the test expression, and then 3 less than or equal to 5. So it prints A for the third time, and next fourth time, fifth time, and after the fifth time what it does is, so it prints the fifth time, it prints A for the fifth time, and now it comes back to the test expression, which is the value, that is the counter variable, has a value which is 6. So 6 less than or equal to 5. So yes, it's false, and now it exits the while loop. So this is how this while loop works. So I hope you have got a clear idea. Okay, now moving on to the next, which is for the next example. So before that, let me just triple code these so that they won't interfere my execution. Now, for the next program, I'm going to decrement it. So let me just copy and paste the same. Here we go. So I've told you that instead of a plus, if we use, then it's known as decrement. So what do you say? Will it end up with an error? Let's check it. And there you go. It's a never ending loop. It just keeps on going. So let me just stop it, or let me just terminate it. Now, how will I get it right? So there's a small modification that you have to do. So in this case, let me just, instead of A, let me print apple. Okay, now over here, while decrementing, the counter variable should be high, that is 5. So I'm going to give 5, so I have to print apple 5 times. So over here I have to change this, which is I have to change this into this symbol, and I have to change this into 1. And now we'll get apple 5 times. So let's check it. And there you go, the apple was printed 5 times. So this is how the decrement works. So you have to be careful while using decrement. So you have to be cautious when giving the value for the counter variable as well as for the test expression. So now moving on to the next, which is a much more simpler one while comparing these examples. So what is our next example? So this is just a simple one. So I'm going to use count as the counter variable, and let me give 0. And next, let me print while, and let me give count. So less than or equal to 10. So let's see what gets printed over here, and print count and then count equal to count plus 1. So over here I've incremented. So let's check the output, and there you go, it has printed the values from 0 to 10. So this is the initial value and this is the final value. So I hope there won't be any doubt. Okay, now let me give a task. So now let me type a coding, which is, let me give the same, which is counter equal to, so let me give 1, and let me use this while, and let me specify counter less than or equal to, let it be 5, and then in this case what shall I print? Let me print, okay, let it be Python. Okay, now I'm gonna give count equal to counter plus 1. So what will you get over here? Can you guess something? Can you see that? It's a never ending loop. So how will you rectify it? So let me just close it before, and there you go. Can you find that? Which is, I've given the variable name as count and not counter, so I have to change it. So now if you check it, there you go, we have printed Python 5 times. So in this while loop there'll be a lot of exceptions, so sometimes it won't return an error. Instead, the output keeps on going on, like the one we saw. It was a never ending loop. So these are some of the methods that you can rectify it. that is using the while loop, you have to do it very carefully. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you.